Hello, and thank you for tuning into my channel. In today's session, I'll talk about stress, the harmful effects of stress on our physical and mental health, and I'll also share some practical tips on stress management. So, let's start by understanding what is stress. Stress is the body's natural response to demands or pressures from the environment. It can come from an internal event like a thought or from an external event that makes you feel frustrated, angry, or even nervous. So, stress can be triggered by both negative situations like work deadlines, relationship issues, or financial pressures, or even exciting life events like planning a wedding, going on a vacation, or moving to a new place can also cause stress. Stress can mean different things to different people. For a school kid, a small test can be stressful. For an adolescent, peer pressure could be stressful. And adults will have their own stress related to their jobs or finances or even relationships. Some stress is healthy because it makes us work harder, perform better, and even adhere to deadlines. But excess stress or prolonged stress can have negative impact on both our body and mind. When we experience stress, our body undergoes various chemical changes as a part of fight or flight response. For one, there is increased cortisol levels, which is known to elevate glucose levels in the bloodstream. It also suppresses digestion and reproductive functions. And then there is increased adrenaline, which increases heart rate and blood pressure. Norepinephrine is also released, which increases alertness and arousal. Endorphins are also released and they reduce pain perception. Then there are changes to neurotransmitters, especially dopamine and serotonin, both of which are associated with anxiety and depression. Then there is inflammatory response to stress as well. Chronic inflammation is associated with several health problems. These chemical changes that I spoke about are part of body's adaptive responses to stress. It is preparing the body to react to the perceived threats. And when the perceived threat is gone, these systems are designed to return to normal function. But what happens during chronic stress is that the relaxation response does not occur often enough. So being in a constant state of fight or flight can be damaging to the body. Chronic stress can lead to various health issues, including heart diseases like BP, obesity, and cholesterol. It can worsen existing disorders like asthma or gastrointestinal disorders. In fact, irritable bowel syndrome is associated with chronic stress, and conditions like eczema, psoriasis, acne worsen during stress. Stress can also weaken immune system and increase the vulnerability to infections and illnesses. Stress can impact mental well-being as well. It can contribute to anxiety, depression, irritability, and mood swings. Stress can disrupt the sleep cycle, leading to insomnia or poor quality of sleep, which will further increase stress levels, and it creates a cycle that is hard to break. Stress can also influence behaviors like undereating or overeating or turning to substance to manage stress, social withdrawal, or even increased aggression. Coming to stress management, different stressors require specific responses based on their nature and how easily they can be changed. I will discuss 4A technique of stress management. It's a framework for coping with stress. 4A here refers to avoid, alter, adapt, and accept stress. The first A is avoid unnecessary stressors whenever possible. If certain situations or people are constantly stressing you, try to limit your exposure or find ways to minimize their impact on your life. For example, if you find that a certain person is constantly complaining and you feel stressed out, you can try avoiding that person. And then address small issues before they become something big. For instance, saying sorry right at that moment can set things right then and there itself, rather than it building up and then leading to an unpleasant confrontation at a later point. Avoid building up stressful chores. Do small tasks right away instead of letting them build up into a large problem. For instance, if you keep putting off doing laundry or dishes, it will only build up and stress you out. Let go of unimportant tasks that can be attended to at a later point and focus on more important tasks on hand. For instance, you have house that needs to be cleaned and then you have a project submission deadline approaching. So in this scenario, it would be less stressful for you to work on your project because there is a deadline approaching, and then you can do your house cleaning at a later point when the submission is already done and you're less stressed out. Second, A is alter the stressful situation, especially if you cannot avoid it. This will involve changes to the way you approach or handle the stressor, and it will also involve communicating your needs, setting boundaries, or finding different perspective to your situation. For example, if there is interpersonal issue at workplace or at home that is stressing you out, it would be best to address these issues than avoiding it. When you address these interpersonal issues, the issues are easily resolved and then it becomes a less stressful situation than letting the issues go on. And ask for help, especially if you're overworked at work. Talk to your employer, talk about extending the deadlines or getting help. Discuss it with your colleagues, see if somebody can help you in completing the task. Don't hesitate to ask for help. And then allocate tasks to other people whenever possible. A lot of times we hesitate to allocate tasks because we think that we can do it perfectly, and when we give it to other people, we lose control over the way they do tasks. But it is less stressful when you share work with other people, and it is better to have a completed task even if it is imperfectly done rather than a half completed but a perfect task. So don't hesitate to allocate tasks to others. Learning to be assertive can help. If you're someone who is a people pleaser and has difficulty in saying no, you end up saying yes to a lot of things and find yourself in a stressful situation. Learn to say no and let go of what others might think of you. And then manage your schedule and time. If you find yourself stuck in traffic a lot of times and then worrying whether you'll be late to work or late to meeting, in those instances, try to manage your time in such a way that you leave your house early, you account for these traffic jams, so you don't have to unnecessarily stress yourself out worrying whether you'll be late or not. Make sure to pay your bills, make sure to do your grocery shopping and account for all the requirements that you may have during the week so that you're free of worries and stressors in the middle of the week. Third, A is acceptance of things that you cannot change. There are situations that we can't change or control. In such situations, acceptance becomes crucial. So acceptance here involves acknowledging that the situation cannot be changed or it is beyond our control, and then letting go of the need to control that situation. So here we focus on managing our reactions and emotions to these situations. One way to do would be ventilation. We may not be able to change the situation, but we can find support from our family or friends and talk to them about it, and then find comfort in their validation of our feelings. We could even talk to a therapist or a counselor in these situations. See if you can find humor in some stressful situations. An angry boss is a fertile source of memes and jokes, so do it safely. Practice positive self-talk. A lot of times stressful situations make us feel negative about ourselves and our abilities. So you need to understand that while you may not be good at certain things, there are definitely other things you're a lot good at. Try to forgive the ones who have wronged you. Anger is an emotion that can drain us physically and mentally. So trying to understand that others' behavior may not have anything to do with us personally, but rather something to do with their own personality or upbringing or their own values. Understanding that certain people's behavior is not personal will help us heal and forgive. If you have made mistakes, learn from it. Reflect on poor choices or the mistakes that you have made and let them be a teachable moment for you rather than regrets and hopelessness. And see if you can reframe the issue and look at the situation from a new point of view. So instead of negative thoughts like I can't do it, can you try replacing it with something more positive like it's tough, yes, but I can handle it. Remember that there is always room for learning. If your source of stress is because you're unable to compete with a colleague because you lack some skills or knowledge, make provisions to learn. Take classes whenever you have time, practice them, and it will only be a matter of time before you are on par with others. Fourth A is adaptation to the situation. Adaptation involves changing ourselves, our expectations, and our lifestyle to reduce stress. Make a list of things that bring you joy, such as family, children, pets, and movies, and call on this list whenever you're stressed. It will not only help you relax, but it will put a lot of things into perspective and remind you about little joys in life. Make some time for yourself to practice silence and meditation that will signal to your body that you're safe. Also make time to do little things like gardening, painting, recording music, or whatever that you enjoy doing. There are also exercises like yoga, muscle relaxations that are known to relax both body and mind, and try to do these activities regularly. Create a balanced schedule. Try to find balance between work life, family life, hobbies, leisure time, daily responsibilities, and so on. Take care of yourself, drink plenty of water, eat well, exercise, and sleep well. Pamper yourself to vacations and spas once in a while. Overall, understand that life is not just about work and try to find little pleasures. In today's video, we saw how stress harms our physical health and mental well-being. We also went through some of the techniques to manage stress. It is essential to find what works best for you and create a personalized stress management plan. If stress is becoming overwhelming or is affecting your daily life in a significant way, please consider contacting a therapist or a counselor, and they will help make a plan that works best for you. This brings me to the end of today's video. I hope the content was useful to you, and if you have questions, please feel free to contact me and I'll try my best to resolve them for you. I'll be back with more videos later on. Until then, stay safe, take care, and bye.